Hello YouTube, and welcome to Astroneer. Now you may notice a few changes around here. I got a few YouTube type gifts for Christmas, and I've shifted the webcam recording, which may or may not be on the final video depending on how it turns out, to my phone up here, and I now have a blue microphone which sounds a lot better, and I'm also now recording through a capture card, so I'm still tweaking everything, so please forgive any bugs or anything unusual or weird. But I'm getting there. Now, one of my friends recommended this game. His name is Geek Killer, and he doesn't have a YouTube channel that I'm aware of, but he suggested this game to me, and I've been hooked on it ever since. So it kind of starts off, as you can see, a little bit Minecrafty almost. So you land in your little pod, and when we land, I've landed in a bit of an awkward spot, but that's okay. Hop out of my pod, and the first thing you need to do is find resources. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the new camera. So you have to build up your base, and I guess a little bit like No Man's Sky should have been. Once you've built up your base here on this planet, you can then leave the planet and head to, we can't see them at the moment because of the sun, other planets. The biggest issue with this, of course, is that there are things that stand in your way, like oxygen. So if we look at the little guy here, this line up here, that's his oxygen tank, the blue bar, and the yellow bars are his power level. You don't need too much power to begin with, but as you go on and you start building your base out, you do need a lot of power, so you've got to think of ways of generating it. So I'm just going to hop right in it. This is obviously a new game, so we shall see how we get on. So this blue line tethering me to this pod here is my oxygen line, which doesn't go very far. So there I'm now no longer tethered, and I'm now using my oxygen, so you can see that blue bar going down. So the first thing we're going to need is some compound, and luckily there's some over here. So we mine that like so. So that's one unit of compound that's now been mined. And also there's a cave system down there too, so we shall go and explore that shortly. So a little bit slow to get started. And I've got a warning already saying that my oxygen is down to 50%, so I'm going to head back to my pod. And as soon as I do, it automatically tethers and you can see my oxygen refilling. So to help deal with that, what we can do is craft some tethers. Oh, we can't yet, we need to research those. So if we head down to... where are tethers? Tethers. Tethers. So I need 30 bytes of research to be able to generate tethers. So to build research, or to build up research points, we need to build a research station. So what we're going to do is extend our pod out, and to do that we need resin. So let's see if we can find some. Looks like there's some resin over here. Luckily the game seems to be fairly generous with your starting resources, so I'll get as much resin as I can. And as your technology develops and you start researching and getting more points, you can unlock machines that will replicate minerals. So some of the harder to find ones, as long as you've got one, you can replicate them. It's getting dark, but try and get as much resin as I can before I get too low on oxygen. And if we head over here, you can actually see this is a deposit of oxygen here. So if I start mining this, it fills up my tank and then keeps some in storage as well. I forgot how dark it is at night. One of the things you can craft which comes in very useful is a light. Obviously you have a torch with you, but you can craft a work light that makes things a lot easier to see in the dark or in the caves. I think that's it for this deposit of resin. So I'll head back, recharge my oxygen. Oh, that's not resin. I wonder what this is. Oh, it's just a piece of junk, I think. Can't interact with that or do anything with that. No, we can't. So we will put that resin there. And then I'm going to extend this again. So I could start building this into something, but I don't want to do that yet because you can only build off of these extensions. So once you run out, you have to pretty much either put down a new pod or it gets complicated. So I'm going to extend that to there. And I think I'll do one more, which I'll extend out this way. And now this one, I don't have enough resin. Once I get some more resin, I will turn that into a research station so we can start getting some research points. So, where's some more resin? Ah, this looks like resin up here. So I'm going to mine that out. So on my other game, which I have saved, I have already left this planet and I'm setting up my second base on this planet's moon. And each planet actually has its own difficulties, I guess you could say. Wow, oxygen runs out fast. So on the moon there's a lot less resources, and there's also a lot more wildlife that wants to try and kill you. So, and the good thing with these extensions is they all have oxygen tethers, so we'll put that there. Oops. I'll put that there. And we need compound for our research station. And I've got compound. So now we have a nice shiny new research chamber. Now, the research chamber needs power to make it work. So we can build generators, which is what I might do to begin with. But as time moves on we can actually unlock solar panels, which are a bit more easy to use. So if we want to build a generator, we will need compound. Oh, we have that. I might build 2 generators. Why can't I build another one? I have compound. Interesting. Oh well, we need organic fuel anyway, so there's plenty of that around. So these generators work okay, but they're not very efficient. They take a lot of organic matter to run them. But they get you started. Solar, on this planet, solar is definitely the best method of generating electricity. Obviously it only works in the... only works in the daytime. And for example, talking about difficulties on other planets, on the moon the day cycle is very short. So wind generators are actually the better way of generating power. Or coal-fired generators if you can find coal. Need to stock up on air. So if we put some of this organic compound there... Can I build another generator? Yes, I can. I probably didn't have enough power before. So we'll put that there. And... power that up. So now we have power. We need something to research. So what I might do is just put my excess... I don't have any excess organic, so that's fine. So now we need to find an artifact to research. What have we got over here? These are like little supply drops that are on the planet. There's also various different crashed satellites and even dead astronauts around that you can raid stuff off. So we've got some aluminium, which is handy, and some more resin. So at least we don't have a shortage of resin. I'm going to head back to my base just to refuel my oxygen again. Oxygen becomes a lot less of a concern later on because you can craft bigger oxygen tanks, and as I say, you can build those tethers. And let's head. Let's see if we can find that cave system. And if we're lucky, just got to be careful that you can get back out, especially with my oxygen being quite low. You do find deposits of oxygen down in these caves quite often. Oh, that's a long way down. There's some oxygen there. And something's hurting me. Is there some gas around? There is some gas. That's annoying. We'll head this way. Just get some more oxygen. I really need a work light. This is impossible. Is that it for the oxygen there? Yeah, I think so. So those yellow orbs are power, which can be quite handy. But I think we should probably concentrate on getting out of here so we've got a path. Oops. I think I've got turned around because I need to be up there really, but no bother. We can make our own exit. And as you can see at the moment, my gun's actually burning off the soil that I'm mining. Later on you can craft containers to put that dirt in. There we go. And you can then use that dirt. It can be refined into various different elements. So we'll head back and see if we can find something to research. Actually, what you can do early game is you do get a little bit of research points for just researching anything. So I might stick one of my resins in there. The only caveat is whatever you put in there is destroyed after it's finished being researched. But insufficient power. Where did that power go from the... That's frustrating. I might stick my aluminium up here just to get it out of my backpack. And we'll get some more organic materials. So this research mechanic is apparently a new mechanic that some people didn't like because previously you could just build whatever you wanted to, whereas now you have to unlock things by building research points. And some people weren't very happy with that because it was quite a big dynamic change, but this game is very early alpha at this stage, so it will change. And I didn't know the game beforehand. I've only started playing after this update, so it doesn't bother me. Cool. So we'll load those generators up. And you can see the generators are burning the organic material to generate power. And when you start building up your base and you've got more and more things that require power, if you have something like a solar panel on this machine, all the excess power that it doesn't use will be used to power other things across these tubes. So we're going to need some more organic material. I found that the game does start kind of slow, as you can see at the moment, but it kind of speeds up exponentially as you get more research points and you can unlock more things that make it easier to go further and easier to mine more items. The game considerably speeds up, but then you leave this planet and head to another one and you're pretty much back at square one because that planet doesn't have a base. Oops, I really need to fill this in. I wonder is there anything in here that I can salvage? Or this one perhaps? What have we got in here? Oh, we've got something up there. Aha, that's a seat. So seats are very helpful because you use them to build buggies or space shuttles. So I'm going to put this over here. And you get storms on this planet too, so you need to make sure you bolt things down like that or else it can be blown away. Head back over here. Doesn't look like there's anything else. Oh yeah, there's some resources. What do we got? We've got copper, lithium, and some more copper. Where's my base? And your base marker doesn't always stay there, so if you travel too far away from your base, you've got to remember where you... That's a storm coming. I'm going to get into my pod, because there it is. So the storms are good if you've got wind generators, turbines, but not so good if you're out in the storm because of falling debris. Where's it going? Let's get rid of that. Looks like it might pass by. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. Just going to keep an eye on that. And my things ran out of power, but let's have a quick look. Ah, that's interesting. You can't look at your... That storm's not going to hit us, so... How many research points? 116. Good. That means I can now... If I can find the thing again... Unlock. I can never find anything in this. Tethers. So now that I've unlocked those, I can build tethers using compound. So I need some compound, which there's plenty around, luckily. I'm going to have to fill that hole in. I keep falling down there. Compound. Cool. I'm going to head back to base to stock up on oxygen. Like so. And now I can craft some tethers. So crafting also uses power, as you can see that's using up power. But backpack power is not too much of an issue. I need to find some storage for some of this stuff. Because... where can I put that? Actually, there's some gaps. Yep. I can put that there. You can build storage containers. Build some more tethers. You can find power in the caves, which is more than enough to charge your backpack up. And then you can stick a small solar panel on it, or batteries, for later on. So what I'm going to do now that I have some tethers is see if I can find that cave system again. Was it over here? Should be a small hole where I came out. Is that it? Yeah, that looks like it. Cool. So I'll go within range of my tether and then drop a tether and then start heading down. As you can see now that my oxygen is not being used as I'm tethered back to base. So where do we want to go? And they're also a handy way of finding your way back up to your base. So these gas things here are actually corrosive and they hurt you, so I'm gonna, if you mine under them, they collapse. And you can see I'm now mining this power as well, so my backpack's charging back up. Let's put another tether down. The gas is hurting a little bit. I did have to ask the question, how can the gas get to you when you're in a spacesuit? So that is an object that can be researched. So we can head back with that. It is a little bit slow walking when you've got items. And you can't jump either. And the long walk home. There we go. And so the thing hasn't finished researching that yet. And I need to put this somewhere it won't get blown away by a storm. Hopefully if I put it down there it should be okay. Found a use for my hull. So we need more power. So, how many research points do we have? 86. Is that enough to unlock solar panels? No, I need 400 points for that. So I will just power that generator with biomatter for now. Organic, whatever you want to call it. If I can find some. Generally I try not to use tethers until I start heading in a direction where there's either good resources or interesting things. Aha, here we go. So I'm going to start heading back, and I might leave tethers behind. Need to run because I'm running out of oxygen. And we will get these generators running again. And then head back and liven up those tethers. There we go. Now we can head back there and we don't have to worry about running out of oxygen. And I'm out of tethers. I was hoping there was some more organic stuff over here. Not to worry. So that's pretty much the start of the game. As I say, there's not a lot to see at the beginning, but even though it's early alpha, it's already pretty interesting in that the game keeps driving you. You always want to do the next thing, so you know, you want to be able to be self-sufficient with power, so you have turbines and solar panels, and then you want to get off the planet. So you need to build spacecraft. Cool. So that's researching. That's going to give me a whole heap of research points, so I can unlock solar panels. So that's it for this section. Hopefully everything's worked and that I can actually post this video. If not, I'm going to have to do this again. But thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.